Why was Ryan Reynolds so determined to take down Justin Baldoni? And here is the answer. Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Kerstin Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood, working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Baldoni's legal drama that never ends and gets worse every single week. So yesterday I spoke about how some content creators now are being subpoenaed, and they hadn't actually received any of the paperwork yet. But they learned about their own subpoena through TMZ, who did a story insinuating in the headline that they're working with Justin Baldoni. So after that, Candace Owens actually came out on her channel and showed the subpoena. She had been served, she had it there in her hands, and she said it was delivered by a very nice man. And then she read through it and could reveal that Blake Lively's team wants all her communications about Blake Lively up till today.
He wants, I'm going to put it at 10,000 emails that we have received since we opened up this tip line. I went through it. I mean, I was like, this would be insane for you to ask me for this information. She's coming for the mommy sleuth. She's like, I want to know every Barbara and Sandy and Megan and every person that emailed you and Kyle and Kevin. We want to read your emails. Absolutely not.
So, as she was saying, she has about 10,000 tips from people sending her emails about Blake Lively. And obviously, she's not going to share those with anyone. There is a reporter privilege here that Blake Lively and the New York Times have been using the entire time of this, saying that we won't show you our sources. So, why should content creators do that? Candace Owens said that she's very happy to show them the communication she had about Blake Lively until she filed the lawsuit, because that's when she said that smear campaign was going on. But as we've seen in Blake Lively's more current filings, she's saying that this smear campaign is still going on. She is so desperate to find anyone who could be linked to this smear campaign, and it's getting out of hand and it's getting so embarrassing. And as I said yesterday, this is an attempt to discredit content creators and to scare content creators and to take away all the attention from that Van Zandt sham scam lawsuit that they filed to get hold of Jennifer Abel's phone illegally. And now Ryan Reynolds has come out and said that he is the CEO of that company. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that today, because Glenda, I think we need to give Glenda an applause, because she sent me so many really interesting tips and she's doing so much amazing research for all of us. So again, thank you so much, Glenda, for helping me out so much and for helping this community to share the truth, which I think is very important and is about to get buried. Every single day there's new attempts. Okay, so Glenda sent me this email pointing to a Reddit story that was published about 4 months ago. And at that time, there was so much going on that I think most of us missed this link. And as I said, this makes so much sense to me. Why, as I said yesterday too, and I've been asking myself this so many times, why was Ryan Reynolds so determined to take down Justin Baldoni? And here is the answer, or allegedly, here is the answer. So remember how Maximum Efforts was actually hired to do the marketing and PR for It Ends With Us. As you know, Maximum Effort is owned by Ryan Reynolds, and it was just named one of the top 100 most influential companies by Time. So Ryan Reynolds' company wasn't really hired, of course, by Justin Baldoni, but they forced their way in there and said from the beginning that they were actually going to do this as a family favor. There are emails regarding this back and forth with Jennifer Abel and some other people, where they said, oh, we're just going to do this as a family favor. It ended up not being a family favor, and they ended up charging a lot. And Sony was not really aware of this. With that in mind, Ryan Reynolds had just done a very successful marketing campaign for Deadpool versus Wolverine with maximum effort. And his dream was to do the same for It Ends With Us, to prove again that he is a marketing genius. He was kind of planning for the Barbenheimer effect. Remember Barbie's extremely successful marketing campaign, and then Oppenheimer as well. Both went to #1 in the theaters, and they were talked about as these genius marketing campaigns. And Ryan Reynolds was like, yes, I am that genius too. I'm going to do the same for It Ends With Us and Deadpool versus Wolverine. As you know, they were cross promoting their movies the entire time of the premieres, both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Then it turned out it was a disaster. Blake Lively was doing a terrible job promoting the movie, and the backlash against her was enormous. I mean, the movie still did good, but it didn't look good for the PR and marketing machinery behind the movie. As you know, Blake Lively was blaming this, of course, on Sony and saying that she only said and did in interviews what Sony had told her to do, and they said to her that she should keep a lighter tone. But if you look at all the evidence from conversations between Jennifer Abel and other people, it is very clear that Sony had no idea what was going on in regards to marketing of the movie. Jennifer Abel was saying in an email that they made videos and footage that not even Sony had access to. So maximum effort was behind all of this. And they're saying, including cast baking cookies, floral arrangements, and other quirky ideas that completely missed the point of the movie. Remember also Ryan Reynolds hijacked a press junket with Brian Sklenar and was like acting like the jealous husband. And then he got Hugh Jackman to do the same because, of course, they were in Deadpool versus Wolverine together. He even got his mom to step in there, and they were making this humorous, funny thing surrounding this press junket that was about a movie about DV, as you know. So now this failed marketing made maximum effort look terrible, and Ryan Reynolds panicked. He had just signed a huge deal with Paramount. As you can see from this Variety article, it said here that the agreement between the studio and the production company covers motion pictures development for all maximum efforts projects at all budget levels. So all the project that his production company was already producing also got the rights to do the marketing. Then just before Deadpool versus Wolverine came out, which was a success, he had a movie that wasn't such a big success called If. It says here in the Independent that if fans hit back at critics as John Krasinski and Ryan Reynolds' film gets damning Rotten Tomatoes score. Movie was rated rotten on the popular review aggregator website. I hadn't even heard about that movie, so obviously it didn't make a big splash. So maximum effort obviously didn't make a great campaign for it. So he already had that little misstep there that he was worried about. Then he had the huge success with Deadpool Wolverine, but then again, bam, It Ends With Us was a disaster. What does he do? Well, he needs to blame this on somebody. And who better to blame it on than Justin Baldoni? Remember this letter that he wanted Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer to sign to take all responsibility for the bad press and the bad marketing surrounding and everything that happened around It Ends With Us and the negative press that received? So Ryan Reynolds wrote this letter on August 12th, in 2024, just a week after the premiere. And it was clear in Justin Baldoni's legal papers that this was a statement that Ryan Reynolds had written for them to sign. It says, It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset, to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colin Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. Yeah. I mean, this is so outrageous. I remember when I read this the first time, I was like, no, 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 this is not happening. But yeah. And then they said, we mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why. We have always said we are not perfect. And even typically they're using that against Justin Baldoni again, because he had said, I'm not perfect. Oh, anyways. And even if unintentionally makes mistakes, we will always own them. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being man enough. He put that in there, of course, to mock him a little bit. We always practice what we preach. We are learning and growing from the experience, and we thank everyone for their patience as we find a better way to proceed. We are very proud of the film and the welcome arms that it's been received. Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen, and we are doing it off screen. Thank you to the cast, crew, and public for the opportunity to be imperfect and be given the space to learn and grow. Luckily, Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair team did not sign this. As you remember, they were like, we are not taking responsibility for this. And as I now see, this was the whole reason for Ryan Reynolds to go after Justin Baldoni. He really needed a scapegoat for that disastrous PR and marketing tour because there's so much money at stake here for him and Maximum Effort. If this got known that he was behind that terrible PR and marketing campaign, he might lose maybe that contract he had with Paramount or maybe other projects that he had in the pipeline saying that, oh, Ryan Reynolds is not able to promote these kind of movies, which he obviously wasn't. And yes, so then Ryan Reynolds decided that we go after him. We have heard that there are text messages we can use to discredit Justin Baldoni and say that he is behind this smear campaign against Blake Lively, and it wasn't Maximum Effort's fault that the PR of this movie went down the toilet. It was Justin Baldoni because he was doing this behind the scenes to make her look bad. Yes, doesn't this make a lot of sense to you guys? As I said many times before, I was looking for what was really the motivation here. I mean, they were people saying that, oh, Ryan Reynolds was jealous of Justin Baldoni because Blake Lively had a crush on him, so he wanted to like punish him. They wanted to take over the movie, the rights of the movie. And of course, the fact that maybe something happened on the set that made Blake Lively really uncomfortable. But I feel like going to this extent, even after she said that it wasn't really that bad in that NPR interview with Megan Twohey, when the journalist from New York Times said that Blake Lively had told her the SH wasn't really that bad and she had experienced much worse, then it would make sense to put all of this up together and, you know, go after Justin Baldoni like this. But this do make sense. Also, there's new legal filings from Blake Lively's team. She's so desperate to prove this retaliation campaign against her. So now she wants access to Jed Wallace's client base. So Jed Wallace is the guy behind Street Relations. He was the one that hired Gunn for social media. That was the crisis manager that Justin Baldoni's team hired to kind of sort this thing out when things started going south. And now Blake Lively wants to see his whole client list because she thinks if she can see who his other clients are and see if there's a pattern in there that these clients have painted other people in a bad light or something, then she can prove that there was a smear campaign. I mean, this is so far-fetched now that it's becoming like it's so ridiculous. I would be so embarrassed if I were her lawyers having to write things like this. This is just like, I mean, come on. And of course, Jed Wallace is saying, I want to protect my clients here, that he's representing a lot of big celebrities. Some of them have addiction issues, as he's saying. They don't want this to go public, of course. So by doing this, I'm sure the judge is not going to allow it. That would be crazy to me if he does. But if he does, the names of these celebrities will be public. Blake Lively would be even more disliked in Hollywood. I don't understand how she can think this is a good idea. All her PR strategies so far are terrible. If Maximum Effort is behind all of these PR strategies that they're doing right now, they should never be hired by anyone again. And I think as Ryan Reynolds thinks that he is a marketing genius, this whole mess that they created proves that he is rubbish. Anyways, I'm sure you guys are as upset as I am about the P. Diddy case and what happened in court yesterday. This is just so outrageous to me. that he was found not guilty of 3 of the 5 counts, and those were the most serious ones, as you know. I mean, this to me just again proves that if you are a celebrity, you are untouchable. And there's so many things about this case, not to get into the gritty details of the horrific experiences that these victims had. We heard them in court. We we saw the video, and still this jury. So, I mean, what is it about this jury? I was actually listening to a lawyer online earlier who said that juries are mostly wrong because you just take a random 12 people from the street. If you take 12 people from the street randomly and put them together and show them something and say, what is your opinion about this? I think if you did 3 groups like that, maybe all of them would have a different opinion about it. So is that justice? And the question is, if P. Diddy wasn't famous or a big star or had so much money, would the verdict be the same? I don't think so. Another thing that upsets me is that all these people that knew what he was doing in Hollywood, other celebrities that could have come forward and strengthened this case, chose not to because they're afraid and because they're cowards and because they don't want to ruin their own image. And they're also responsible for him not being punished for everything that he did. I don't know if he's going to walk out from this, what the judge is going to end up doing, if he's going to like give him a year or two, or I mean, he could get up to 20 years, but people are saying, that's probably not going to happen. Maybe they'll let him out on bail. He's not let out on bail right now, but this is looking terrible. And it's so sad. And it just takes away so much of my hope for this case that there will be justice for Justin Baldoni here. Because as we've seen so many times now, the power of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, basically Ryan Reynolds, and the things that he's been able to get away with for so long is very scary to me and very disencouraging, and makes me in a very bad mood. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you think. Do you think this is the reason Ryan Reynolds went after Justin Baldoni? Let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, to support my channel so I can keep talking about this. And also hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Blossom Talk. Tomorrow is my podcast day again, so I hope you support that too. It really means a lot to me. I hope everyone stays cool wherever you are. Here in Spain, it's super hot. As you can see, my face is getting shinier and redder by the minute I'm doing this podcast. I even have AC and a fan on, and it's not really helping. But yeah, there you go. All right, take care, you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.